But the final topic for this show is a Star Wars topic. So Game of Thrones, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, they're showrunners for that. That's ending, of course. And this has been a rumor for a while. People were like, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. It's come up again. They're doing a trilogy for Star Wars, separate from Rian Johnson, separate from whatever else is coming. It's their own thing. And it's said to be set in the Old Republic. This is coming from a website called StarWarsNews.net. So you see all the people posting about it. I'm sure you've seen that in maybe your news feeds, Facebook, whatever. All comes from the single source. Says it's reliable, and they're 95% confident. That's a quote. So take it with a grain of salt still, because it's still that singular source. But it is supposed to take place hundreds of years before A New Hope.
Excellent.
Hundreds of years, which is cool, but keep in mind, everyone, when they hear Old Republic, they immediately go to Knights, right? Knights of the Old Republic was about 4,000 years before New Hope, so this wouldn't quite be in that. You had the Old Republic, I think that came out in 2011, right? That was like 300 years after Knights. So that gives them a pretty open, sandbox to play with. I wish they would.
Jedi.
Tons of Jedi, exactly. Yeah. Finally get some like Jedi Sith type. Like if you go with Knights, you get
the first movie.
Malak, maybe Darth Revan, like that type of stuff. So that would be really cool. I hope. They said hundreds of years, which doesn't line up, which was kind of my hesitation with it being Knights. But I really hope they do Knights of the Old Republic. That would be so dope.
Malak, Bastila. Man, I remember that game. That game was amazing. I love that first one. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, because that's what people are looking for, and especially when you have and I know we've beaten them to death over and over again, but when you have the potential ending of the whole Jedi Order and everything like that based on The Last Jedi. You can't. I mean, the thing that makes sense about that, and the thing that is just self-evident throughout it, is you can't have Star Wars and Jedi. It's just not possible. It's just that's what everybody. I mean, the Jedi and the Sith and the lightsaber fight. That's the star of the show. Doesn't matter what else you have going on. Like, I mean, and I can even say, even if you do the extended universe stories that they're doing, like that Solo and stuff like that. You can kind of go away from that, but for the most part, if it's going to be an actual legitimate Star Wars movie having to do with the entire lore of it all, you have to have lightsabers. You have to have the Jedi.
Which is smart to go backwards instead of forwards, because it gives you that sandbox. You're way before Order 66, so
And the thing that I'm curious about too, with it all is just, I mean, and maybe. For those guys, it's extremely smart because they know better than, why am I going to have to, go ahead and invent, I mean, obviously, make up new characters, but at least it's somewhat within, the same, like you said, the whole sandbox to play in. But going forward, I think it'd be hard to create, basically be starting off a new series, from the, this is the end of the Skywalker saga. Now here we go with something new, and this is going to be the starting point of it. If I was them, I'd go backwards too and say, okay, look, this is what we're going to go with. We're going to go all these hundreds of years back, so at least we have kind of something to line up to, and we can use the old stuff to kind of make at least this is what we're making our point on to, and we can kind of go off some of the established history and kind of draw from that to help shape our world. So
it'll have to wow me so much at this point.
Yeah,
they've burnt me out. If they're doing 2 consecutive trilogies that are going to be separate, what are we going to have? We're going to have
on top of all the Disney Plus stuff.
One in the winter and one in the summer. We're going to get 2 new Star Wars films a year now.
Well, here's what you do. What you do is you go like this. You say, all right, I'll stick with the Game of Thrones showrunners one. And the Rian Johnson one, we just don't even mention. We put in the trash. I don't give a shit what happens next with that. I just think that for everything included and everything else, it's just it's just weird. And I also kind of you know, with the Last Jedi, I wonder if the reason why it was so far out from what everybody expected, because he's trying to, I mean, because maybe his trilogy is, you know, a starting point and a new way to go forward. So maybe he did it kind of selfishly to set his his trilogy up, you know, without, you know, even considering the rest of the actual saga, that episode 9, and just how it was going to make people feel. He's just like, I'm going to set up my thing and what I'm going to do, and then episode 9, do whatever you want, but like, this is what I'm doing. So
yeah, but I mean, if I was a director and they were like, all right, we want you to do something with Star Wars, I would definitely say, yeah, I want to do something in the past.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Or anything that we've ever put in a movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't want to touch the future at all because you have messed up the present.
Yeah.
I would do a show with the Millennium Falcon, and they have to travel back in time to San Francisco in the 80s and pick up a whale.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because there's like a probe, right? And it's like messing with the planet, right?
And only the whales can talk to it.
Dude, that's so cool.
I just thought of it. Original idea.
That's the best.
No, I like going to the past. I think that you can have some really, really awesome, especially like, you know, lightsaber battles and all that type of stuff. I mean, you can really push the envelope there, just because, you know, if it's more commonplace in that, you know, point of time where you have, you know, Sith and Jedi having, you know, major battles all over the galaxy like that, that would be, I think, really cool and just something fun to see. So I like the idea of those guys, you know, having a trilogy, and I like the fact that they're going to go to, you know, hundreds of years in the past, you know, to see it happen. And if it would be added bonus if they went ahead and did that Darth Revan, Darth Malik story, in order to kind of, you know, pay off to all the people that, you know, played the games and remember the story and want to see something really cool come about from that.
Yeah, for sure. A couple of people in the chat have some comments. Iron Galactus wants to see a remastered version of The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, but with lightsabers. That's a great idea. And Mr. Unknown and Comically Flawed are making me laugh over here. Iron Galactus wants also to see a movie where Short Circuit proves to be a precursor to C-3PO. That's a pretty good idea, like a proto C-3PO.
Johnny Five is alive. Johnny Five is alive.
So some good ideas there, and that would be in the future because Star Wars was a long time ago. Interesting. But yeah, so we'll be looking forward to that as that comes about more in development or what have you. But for me, for Star Wars, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is actually The Mandalorian. I think that's going to be a pretty cool show. So that's going to be on Disney Plus, of course. Don't know much about episode 9 yet. That should come up probably at Celebration, which is next month, believe it or not. So maybe we'll find out some more there. Maybe we'll get like a sizzle reel, behind the scenes type of reel, maybe a title reveal, something like that. So be looking forward to that. And as that comes out, we'll definitely be talking about it here on the show.